look at space, I look up in the sky and I see black. Black is the absence of light. And so I decided to use that as a way of exploring and working in that way to explain my art, to sort of visualize something which is not of this planet. But I think that in order to sort of put it in its proper context, sort of equate cosmic as kind of a light area. White would be kind of truth, and black would be the absence of truth. So that does have that kind of meaning for me too, that white or light is truth. In 1971, my father built an indoor tennis center in Cheshire, Connecticut. He invited the state lottery in there to do a lottery drawing, and there were 7 people that won $10,000 in a playoff for $75,000 first prize. As this was going on, I watched around a lot of people thinking about bags of money, dollar bills. In fact, I thought so hard all I got was a headache. A week later I got a letter in the mail from a high school friend I played golf with, and he said, "Is this really you?" And he mailed me an article from his paper, Minneapolis, about Ken Grimes of Cheshire, England, a week later winning 7th straight soccer ties at 1.5 million to 1 odds and winning over $1 million. I was amazed. This never expected anything in the world like this. It's hard to think about extraterrestrial, paranormal, and I just started to sort of amass a library of very, very weird books. I think extraterrestrial civilizations would probably have pretty much the same standards in some ways, but they might be more advanced spiritually and metaphysically than we are. I see another step in that direction, kind of a universal aura, kind of a purity of aura, where maybe a certain pure color would be kind of an element, it's part of a spectrum that might be just a portion of light and would be obtainable over a kind of a supernatural presence, almost like a Kirlian photograph. This aura might be kind of a standard by which the society tries to obtain kind of a religious state or a nirvana, and it would be something that beings on another planet would be taught to stay away from certain colors, and other beings would be sort of like praised for having this kind of certain kind of combination of colors. They might be able to read a person at night, let's say 1,000 of our feet away, and know exactly what kind of state of mind he's in. And by that, he would be able to sort of be able to communicate and sense danger or other kinds of phenomena. I paint because I'm actually interested in sharing my message or my experiences with a much larger audience. I don't think I could have gotten this far if I just was writing books or papers, but a large number of people can see the same thing each time in a much more concise way. A painting speaks very directly to the viewer. Unfortunately, a painting only can say something in about 15 seconds versus a big book that could sort of involve a person for a long period of time. So I had to cut my message very short. I'm able to talk a little bit more in front of the camera, but what I'm interested in doing is trying to share a shortcut of knowledge with a lifetime of experience that I've put into my work and my research. I think if you go to the library, you could read somebody's life story in a couple hours, and I certainly am trying to do that in a way which will transcend my experiences and feel that they're meaningful, and not only to myself but to the greater public. I feel that by understanding this, we can take control of our own planet and our own lives and sort of live a better way. I see ourselves kind of on a spaceship Earth, that is hurling at a certain direction, maybe too fast, maybe too slow, I don't know. But we need to sort of examine where we're going with the spaceship and how we put the brakes on. If we're going too fast, what kind of fuel we're using, who we are on the spaceship, and how this spaceship looks in comparison with other worlds in the galaxy. I think it's vitally important to understand the human perspective globally and have a way of measuring and stacking up against other civilizations in the galaxy. We don't know anybody else beside us, our planet Earth. And so that is so important to sort of say, well, suddenly I put these glasses on, I thought everybody saw these blackboard the same way. So by knowing how we see in relationship to maybe another person with eye chart, we can say, well, maybe we need something to correct our behavior, our actions, our planet, maybe the spin or the kind of orbit or the distance away from the sun, or asteroid impacts. Any number of things have had an effect that maybe another civilization didn't have. And so we have a way of knowing, if we make contact, exactly what our frailties are and what our strengths are on a global basis. I usually buy about a month's supply of masonite at the lumber yard in Camden, and they deliver it. And then when I get pretty much a piece size masonite I want to use, sometimes I'll write the text to pick the masonite, or sometimes I'll get the masonite to fit the piece I'm doing, the text piece. Sometimes one determines the other, or whatever. So then I'll write the idea out. Sometimes I'll prime the piece with gesso, which is a plaster Paris emulsion that you would call a urethane, and it stands up and sort of fills in and prepares the painting surface to paint on. I buy my paints in the local paint store, Utrecht. I should say the brands, but I found Utrecht had better body than other paints, and I've always used it. In fact, it was recommended to me by a couple of people I studied painting with. I'll write my ideas down. I'll probably write 4 or 5 rewrites to get it succinct, right to the point. And then what I'll do is to lay it down on paper in columns, and it's essentially the same way I would lay it out on a board. And then once I have the text down, I then take a T-square, which is a Mason's T-square, about 6 feet long, and rule lines on it so the lines are horizontal, and I can get a sharp edge on the text, line of text. Rule the masonite with pencil, and then I'll pencil in the text on the board, and then I'll start painting. I usually start at the top and work down, and then paint everything around the letters. I find that white stands out better on black because I get a much better edge painting the area around the letter instead of the letter over the black paint. I found that by experience. And I paint all the background and then leave the letters. It probably takes me anywhere from 3-4 days to a week to do a piece.